Hello there, welcome to Bryan Lomax Movie Talk and my latest Patreon request. Been a while since I've done one of these, but yes, Ethan Davidson has become recently a new patron of mine. Thank you for that, Ethan, much appreciated. But he has requested the film Them from 1954. Whenever I see the poster or anything to do with this film, I think of an old friend of mine, Matt Kelly, who I used to share a flat with. He loved this film and he would quote it and he would walk around the flat going, "Them! Them!" Which I had no clue what that was all about, obviously, until I saw the film and saw the scene with the little girl in it. But yeah, so it kind of brings back fond memories for me, just for that alone, really, of yeah, sharing a flat with a good buddy of mine. I gotta say, when I watched this originally, back with my friend, it was on a really grainy copy. It was like one of those kind of companies, I think, that probably just puts it on DVD with no kind of clean up or anything like that, and it was really hard to engage with. When you made the request, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do it properly, I'll get the Blu-ray. I know this was the first, actually, in the premium collection of Blu-rays, so I thought, I'll get it, I'll watch it in the best possible way, and I'm glad that I did. It's a very cleaned up copy. It's obviously it's from 1954, it's black and white, but on this particular copy it looked really nice, about as nice as you're going to get it anyway. The film basically feeds into a lot of the fears that came in the 1950s about nuclear fallout and things like that, and it is about nuclear testing that results in giant ants, these mutated giant ants that then basically go on the attack, killing people and kind of run away to cities and hide in the sewers and things like that. And this group of people who you basically have to find them, stop them and save people from them. So yeah, very 1950s B-movie style plot. But is it any good? Well, yeah, it is. It's actually pretty decent. It definitely shows its age. It's very dated in certain aspects, particularly the effects. Obviously, the giant ants that are on show here were probably cutting edge in the day, but now they do look a little bit too much like badly made toys that are, yeah, probably going to get recalled because parts of them hurt the children. But it's still good, it's still effective. I think the main strength of the film is the script, and particularly the opening 20 minutes. There's this kind of slow build towards the reveal of the ants, and we get a nice bit of character work, a bit of tension building. Like I say, there's this little girl that's kind of how the film starts, really. These police officers are out in this desert looking for this little girl, and they find her, and she's not talking, she's looking blankly into the middle distance. They basically follow the trail back to, you know, where she's come from and trying to figure out what's up with her. And we keep getting these little pieces that are fed in until obviously it's leading up to the knowledge that it is these mutated giant ants. And I love the way they do it. I love all the build-up, the little moments that key into what's going on before we actually see it. The film does a very good job of the whole show don't tell school of screenwriting. A little bit that I thought was just a nice little effective bit of screenwriting where nothing needs to be said because it's all done through action. And that's when the police officers go to this trailer that has been trashed, and one of the police officers, he picks up this little bit of plastic, and then as he's talking to the other cop in the car, he looks at the doll that the little girl has hold of, and he places this little plastic just above the doll, and it fits in place. It's a really great and subtle way of just showing us, yeah, this is where the girl came from. We don't need any big speeches. We don't need any dialogue to question anyone, to say who this girl belongs to. We know this is where she came from, just from that one little moment. It's little touches like that littered throughout where, again, like I say, that whole show don't tell school of writing really comes into play, and it's very effective. The final act of the film takes place in these sewers. These ants have kind of gone into the LA sewers, I think it is. I think they said it was LA. And they make a nest down there, and they have to go down, and before they try and wipe out these ants, they've got to find these two boys who have gone missing, presumed dead, but they have to be sure. And they go down to find them. And this whole sequence, despite the really dated special effects, it's quite tense. It's very effective in the way it builds the tension, because you feel like the characters are genuinely in danger. Helped by the fact that one of the main characters that we follow throughout the film, there are several main characters, one of them is killed. And then it kind of says like all bets are off. And then after that, you've got another of the main characters who's like, he gets into a spot, and I won't reveal whether he dies or not. But like I say, because of that previous character, you all bets are off. This guy could seriously cop it. So there's tension there. There's genuine tension, and that's because you like the characters. I like these characters. There's one character in particular who's kind of like the first cop we're introduced to, who starts the investigation before this FBI guy comes in. I really like him. He's quite a heroic character. He's quite, strong-willed and whatnot, but he's not douchey or anything. He's just like a good kind of small-town cop. There are certain elements of the film where it's just kind of a bit hokey. The special effects, obviously, as I've already said, but also this idea that these ants that are as big as they are, like I think at one point one of them says that it's 9 foot long, or maybe even a bit longer. You got quite a few of these things flying around and going into cities, and no one knows. You got literally the testimony of one dude who was like flying a plane. He's just kind of snubbed off as a crackpot, which leads to a pretty good scene, which I'll go into in just a minute. And then you've got another guy who is literally a crazy guy. So like, the only two people who've witnessed these things, one of them's a crazy dude who can't be taken seriously, and the other one is kind of, palmed off as crazy. It's hard to believe that with these things flying around and going into a major city, there are, I would expect more the typical 50s B movie in which you see loads of people like, screaming and running from these things. But to say that these massive flying ants kind of get in mostly undetected, like little ninjas, it stretches credibility a bit for me, just a bit too much. But other than that, I do think it's pretty solid stuff. Like I say, there's that scene that I just mentioned where the guy kind of gets palmed off as crazy, and the FBI agent, he goes to speak to him with this woman who's another main character in the film, a really good character actually, and they go to speak to him to try and find out if what he's seen is indeed these ants, because they know they exist. They're trying to track these ants down, and they go to see this guy just to confirm, so they can kind of figure out where they are. And he does confirm it. And when they come out, rather than letting this guy off the hook, rather than telling the doctors he ain't crazy, he's telling the truth, the FBI guy literally says, keep him locked up because he's a few bats short of a belfry. It's quite a devious little moment. It's not something you'd expect from the hero character. This is a guy who's one of our heroes. He's one of our protagonists, and he kind of plays a really underhanded move, which is, it's less than heroic, so to speak. But it's nice because it feels more real. It feels more genuine that, he would do this in this situation in order for the greater good, in order to keep panic down. The final thing I will say, as I just pointed out, is this female character. So she plays the daughter of the doctor that's kind of the specialist on this situation, the one who's had the theory that has been proven to be right about the nuclear fallout creating these mutant ants. So she's his daughter, but she's very strong-willed, and there's a really good scene in which, obviously, I don't know, I would imagine this would have played quite well for women at the time when this film came out, because the FBI guy, he's like kind of telling her that she can't go with them, she has to stay behind, basically because she's a woman, and she won't have any of it. And she really gets up in his face and says, look, I'm going whether you like it or not, so we better get moving, this kind of thing. And it's a really nice scene. It's one of those kind of female empowerment scenes that, again, I would imagine back in the day, back in 1954, it was quite an advancement. When you look at the rest of the film, you could see that it's clearly within a time period when that was very rare, or was very noticeable to have a scene like that. I mean, like I say, the only other female character in this is the mother of the two boys that get kind of taken by the ants, and she doesn't really do a right lot other than cry for the loss of her husband and her kids. It's a good film. It's like I say, dated, but very solid stuff, quite entertaining, particularly good script, I think. More so in the first half, and that like last 20 minutes. There's a bit of lag in the midsection, I think. But no, I was very happy to watch this. I'm happy I got the premium edition, because I'll probably watch it again at some point in the future. For now, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. But yeah, what about you? Have you seen Them from 1954? Thank you to Ethan for recommending this. It was a good watch. Please leave your comments down below on your thoughts for this film and my review. Thanks for watching, and until next time, cracking.